All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. Let's try to get those rough roads a little smoother. One of the things that's going on, and again, being counter Elon, don't want to spend the money, so I don't think it'll be an immediate project. But there's a question as to what's actually going on with allergens. I think pollen sense is correct, and it has a high mold reading. And as the mold reading reduced on the app, my pain decreased, which could happen, right? So the app looks like it's working, but I went to the other uh, readings for. Let me try to turn this down a little bit. Went to the other readings for the other weather services and things, and they said it was low mold. This one was like extremely high to like high medium. It gives you a graph throughout the day to show you where the mold actually is and was. It's a real time sensor. Now it's going back up again. But then it'll be back down again. But it's actually way down from the peak. Actually, yesterday was higher, so I don't know. Just seems like I felt better as the mold was decreasing. And then, the reading for the external mold is different than the reading for the indoor mold. Right. It could just be, the cooler it gets, the less mold there is on the indoor. That's why I needed to get to that new housing in Manhattan. If I had no concern about the deep state, I would have moved into Manhattan in a second. I was trying to do my best analysis as which area would be safer. And the weird part is it's the cops that are plotting against me. If the cops aren't part of it, then nobody's part of it. That's generally how it works. Well, because then they could get arrested or at least harassed so that they'll stop. I can't figure this out with my stomach because if I eat veggie straws, then my stomach's fine. It's like considered junk food. I don't know what it is. It's kind of a dry food. Because I have no stomach problem right now. I just ate a full bag of veggie straws, a big bag, not the biggest, but like 7 ounces. All day I've been chomping on them. I just ordered out for food. I was not going to be able to get out today. What may have happened, I slept on my one side yesterday. I may have did something. I don't know. Now I'm on my other side. It doesn't feel as bad. I might be. I just might again need corticosteroid and massage to at least get usable life. Right. But if they didn't bother me for the last 2 years, I could have got somewhere. Again, it's like weird. I'm in Oklahoma. The whole time I'm in Oklahoma, they're doing it. Right. And they're doing it here for 2 years. Oh my God. Yeah, 2 years straight. Yeah, I go in the background a little bit, but they're still doing it. Right. It's like a scam that they're not. The game over. I saw the Eagles was winning. I don't know if you're going to be able to appeal the loss of access to non-cleared people. It's only for a week, at least a week, I guess, but a week theoretically. Right. Well, it's just your typical order. I mean, go through these all the time. Right. Right. The destruction of work seems a little rash. Right. I mean, in the end, if there's a finding, they'll probably say destroy it, but well, I guess not, because you can turn it over to people that are allowed to have access. Like obviously, if they demand Elon use people with or with a background clearance access, right, they'll find people with background clearances, right? There's no need to destroy the work. Right. In fact, he could use the work to show the new people what they're doing, right? Or somebody could, right? But that's the kind of thing Elon needs to do. I understand the FBI may have stepped on it, and I said that they're like I said. Isn't that funny? I said, well, they're not all honest, and I'm not reading the headlines if it was on there beforehand. I mean, FBI people knows that everybody's not honest, right? But Elon needs is like me and Treasury, right? Need to start giving people credit. Right? Or left off the whole government. Then we'll get nowhere. And that could be some of the problem we're having. Right? Right. Dissing the government, it F's off the government people. I have parameters. Well, if Elon's going to be part of the government, they need to be part of the government, right? Right. Right. And that's his team. And we'll get beat like the Chiefs. Right. Now, I'm actually connected to those two guys, even though I said some stuff about Mahomes, how his brother, should be doing that. Right. Right. And they shouldn't be. Right. Women have rights. But that's Trump. I mean, oops. Something in my head with that one. He's starting to project again. Like he can do things independent of his body. As far as not necessarily having to be MAGA faithful. Right. I'm not surprised this tropical trail mix I got was pretty good price for. Like you order it from CVS and uh, Walgreens, little pieces. These things are amazing. Southern Grove, amazing bag for the price. It weighs a ton. No, my back's way too tight. I have no idea. I mean, it could be the mold that triggered it, but I don't know. But the amount of pain I had today, it just seems like it's like the mold, right? Well, I'm not supposed to be here. I hope you can get my 70% disability claim forward. I didn't realize that they adjusted all that. Right now, because the top 100% is like 130 or maybe even 150%. Right? They never had a category like that before. At least I don't think they did. I was sick all day. My stomach was doing crazy stuff. I had pain. Everything was tight. Like I was trying to explain things, and I was just my head was swimming. Okay, workforce is missing air traffic controllers in peril nationwide. Again, I believe because it's again I don't know how they calculated the number of air traffic controllers per tower per shift or whatever it is. But I would assume, and again, I don't know. You have to poll the employees and or poll the air traffic controllers. But it seems like it's a stress issue, based upon where the worst shortages are. Well, I believe the worst shortages are. And this is a national safety thing. I mean, who'd have thought they wouldn't figure out how to bring in additional people? Now he said the supervisor went home early or whatever, but basically, even if the supervisor goes, because it shouldn't be that short. The supervisor should be allowed to go home early and not kill the tower. Right. It's just like I explained the marshal service. We have extra people that just sit around sometimes because they need to be there just in case something happens. Right. But sometimes you look and say, why is there so many deputies? Well, for when the shit hits the fan. Right. So they need to adjust it. You actually have to, it's going to be expensive to get there, but not as expensive as, losing lives. Right. So I don't know what the number is for each tower, but there's a larger number that will allow that stress to reduce, and you will be able to hire everybody even though it's additional employees. But what's going to happen is, which I believe because I'm seeing, might be wrong, but even though they're on break, they're going to sit in a tower. They're just not They can take a break from being responsible. Right. So, which means you're going to have extra eyes in the tower anyway. They might, I don't know if they're allowed to drink coffee in the tower or anything like that, but you get a cup of coffee to go back up in the tower during their break. And they help. So, I mean, there's no way that thing would have happened the other day if you have a setup like that. Which means if you're saying you're supposed to have, a minimum of 2 or a minimum of 3 in a tower, and you don't have that, that's insane. But I think the real answer is you need like a minimum of 5 or 4, and then you'll have all the people you need. They won't mind. I think it's that intense focus. I don't know how what their shifts are, what their breaks are like, because it's an also responsibility, right? So I think it's that intense focus that's just driving away from these high traffic towers. That may be other towers. So what you actually have to do, actually the AI might be able to figure it out. What you need to do is, again, poll the employees. Because you probably asked them, what could we do at these airports to increase the number of even volunteers? I mean, they might even volunteer to be in those places at a certain point. I mean, it's air traffic. That's a big deal. And I wouldn't just depend on upgrading the computers, but I told you years ago to update stuff in that plane, but it sounds like the helicopter had something similar to what I was talking about, putting in the airplanes. It was just insane that one airplane that smacked its tail. It's insane. Like it was San Francisco or something. But I said you have to change your computers or your software and put in additional sensors. Like it was I think it was like the autopilot or something similar to that. It was just insufficient. Like actually, no, I was thinking. No, I was telling you should have They should have an autopilot for landing. I mean, it should be able to do it. I mean, but not like it's not in control, right? Or it was in control. I think. Or it's that you can it override. It doesn't override the pilot. It instructs the pilot, which is what was in that helicopter, but it was turned off. Right. But I think you just need to find the number, whatever it is, that allows an additional break or two or whatever it is. I mean, if you have enough people, you can probably you can rotate out rather frequently, and those they could say so engaged at that point. Right? They're just too stressed, I think. And there's no way the tower, like the supervisor, goes home early, and all of a sudden they don't have all the posts filled. That shouldn't exist. I mean, all it would take is for that person to go on a medical. Ambo comes in and takes them out, and not enough people, right? Or anybody. Right? So you want, I don't know if there's people on break. I don't know how it's working, but if that was all you had, that's insane. So you need, I mean, can you imagine the money flowing through an airport and how much each one of those airplanes cost? Now, how many employees are we actually talking about? And again, if you had one extra employee, it might not actually do it. You may actually need 2 or 3, but that's in do it. Right. And the money is really nothing compared to what it costs or what money's flowing. What All right, let me see here. Yeah, there it is. So the reality is that it probably isn't that high, but again, you should have a couple extra people in that tower, and they rotate on brakes. But again, the inference is they're saying we rotate on, and again, I think it's them. They're saying, yeah, we rotate on brakes, but we're going to be back in the tower. We'll get like a cup of coffee or a drink or something like that. Right. So you'll actually have backup eyes watching the screens. Right. Okay. So that'll be the safety margin that you're really looking for. Yeah, saying that when it's really busy, they could actually have an additional post open, right? Even though they get breaks and stuff, it'll work better that way, right? So they can actually, even though they're on break, they can, if there's an emergency, they can start watching or whatever it is. It's insane the number that they're running with. I mean, actually, they should probably shut down the airports until they get the others trained up, but of course they won't. But it's probably an emergency to train people up and bring them in. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, because you mess with the person from Philly. Why you can't win? Losers. Yeah, see, I knew there was something out there that was going to put egg on Trump's face with USAID. I knew it. Trump calls USAID a tremendous fraud. His wife and daughter promoted its work. I knew it. I told you to be careful. I wonder what else they're going to find. No, I can't. I did a couple more healings for Trump as far as not being president. He was a Mr. Trump when I dictated it. So I'm like, oh, but I'm still not up to do all that other stuff. Maybe I'll get up. Who knows? They're saying to move. He said that Saudi Arabia should host establish right should establish a Palestinian state. My idea is if there's a group of Palestinians that just want it to be over and they're willing to relocate, that we, whatever that number is, that we move them. Right. I mean, if we give somebody an option to move on, they might do it. And I'm not saying that for any other reason than, normal life. Go live normal life somewhere. I'm sure someone do that. We're not that attached to the having to be there. Right. Well, some of them have lost kids and still have a few kids left. Some don't have kids. Some have kids, and didn't lose any kids, but don't want to lose any kids. Right. They might say, "Yeah, I want to go someplace where my kids can just go to school and live a normal life." Right. Enough of what's going on here. If somebody wants to fight for the land, fine, let them fight. But my kids need to have a normal life. Right. So I said, yeah, again, we're missing some of the opportunities, because Netanyahu says one direction, the Saudi Arabia says the other direction, but somewhere in the middle, we can do some kind of charitable stuff where we can get some, to do some benevolence and get some people to normal life, regardless of what the rest want to do, right? Like they can fight their fight, but I'm sure there's people in and then you have the density is a lot less dense, right? I'm sure there's people in Palestine that if you offer them a good life somewhere else, like housing and all of that, they'll go because they just want to have, their kids' lives are wasting, their lives wasting, right? Like I said, if they went up to Turkey, they probably could grow olives up there. They enjoy growing olives. Turkey's another option. Like nobody wants to talk to Turkey for some reason. I guess they're mad at Turkey, right? Because they dissing them. I guess Saudi Arabia's dissing them now too. Yeah, Turkey's an option. Turkey's probably a good climate for the olives. I'm probably talking to some Palestinians in their head, trying to convince them to go. Like you're probably waiting for the offer. Meza, You can grow meza, Turkish olives. Generally speaking, Edremit Ayvalık is a predominant variety in the north of Turkey's olive growing area, and Memleket in the south. Yeah, they grow olives up there. The Palestinians should move to that want to grow olives should move to Turkey. See if they get some land committed. Right. In their community, you can put some land for little land plots for olive trees. Growing some quality olives up there in Turkey. Got a large variety. So again, yeah, everybody's there's this big battle going on back and forth, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll all want to fight it. Now that the war is looking like the war could end. Or thinking that it could end. Right. So, but you may have a sizable number that are just willing to move on if you offer them something. Right. See if I can find it on a map. They got a great variety of olives in Turkey. I think there's a Palestinian community in Turkey already, probably already growing olives. Palestinian in Turkey. No, it's just there. Oh, they went to Turkey. Someone went to Turkey. Prisoners ceasefire agreement. Do they stay in Turkey or are they moving to different nations? You went to Egypt. Mm, they're actually a mosque, I guess. Okay, I see. Yeah, yeah. There was someone living in Turkey. Oh yeah, yeah. Turkey's doing it already. Yeah, but these are Hamas people. We should, yeah, that's the weird part. Like these Hamas people get to go to Turkey. We gotta get to see if there's some of the families want to go. Right. I was probably inside with it, although I just woke up to it. Well, if people want to fight that battle, they can fight it, and I don't know how it's going to end. But if we can get some people out of there and some decent life, especially with the kids. Right. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, this is going. Mold index is going back up, but I don't think it's as high as it was today. Actually, no, it wasn't. Let me see. Okay, it's 6 at 12. Yeah, it's going back up. That's only momentary, I think, and it comes back down. At 12, it'll go back down again, or two. Wait a minute, that don't make sense. Dustin Dander, I thought was up. They're saying that Dustin Danner is down, but the mold is up. If it says it's a nearby. Yeah, it's in even the neighborhood. It says. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not bullshit. It was down before, but they have like a metro area, city, neighborhood. It's actually a neighborhood close. It says, which would be great. Which means this is like the exact reading almost. No, I was pretty sick all day, but I've been sick like that on and off. So something's causing it. Right. Was it a real leak or an accidental leak? Like they were they doing a press conference or did somebody actually hide it and leak it about the ice raid? Like a stupid leak or an intentional leak? Right? I'm kind of dozing off here. See, normally when I would doze off like this, I would be starting burping, but there's no burp. Like my Lorenzo's oil must be the veggie straws. I don't know. Maybe it absorbs something in my stomach, or maybe that salt does something. I don't know. That's weird. Actually, that was the inference the spirit was like, and they were like, I was having trouble ordering them. I like was I had ended up ordering three different places, right? And I got my turmeric back. That was out of my diet. My turmeric gummies. Yeah, I'm crashing here. I'll probably sleep tonight. I might have to eat a bag of veggie straws every day. I'm serious. I swear I don't. That's like one of the two foods that doesn't make me sick. And then if I eat it, I can eat like the trail mix and everything. It doesn't bother me. It's definitely what do they call it? The sciatic nerve. It's definitely doing something with the sciatic nerve too. But I have no idea how why it's happening. I had it all relaxed. Right. I was sleeping. I fell asleep. Did I say anything? Well, stay peaceful. Praise God and all to do. Looks like things are moving.